What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. After Sound here, bringing you Splinter Lens content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. All right, well, I wanted to talk about land, and I want to get real on land for a minute. And I know people are going to say that this is bearish, but maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I do want to share some numbers, and I want to share some of the sentiment that I heard in the last town hall or a recent town hall from Aggie. Okay, here's the thing. With land, it was sold at anywhere between $10 to $20 originally per plot. And then there was the airdrop, which gave out massive amounts of SPS to landholders. And now landholders are also still receiving the benefits of the 6.25 million SPS that is set aside for them. So the first thing I want to share is that people who are expecting land to have some crazy ROI, and I know there's a couple of them that even, come to the channel and live streams and I talk through, and I admire and I respect the bullishness around land. I think land can and will be awesome in the future. But in terms of like crazy returns for land, what Aggie has said is that landowners have gotten a bunch of free SPS already. So in his mind, the CEO of the company is clearly telling everybody that we've already given so much to landholders, right? We've already given so much to landholders that don't expect like a ton more. I mean, I'm putting words in his mouth there, but that's kind of the assumption that I'm making based off of that. And it's not in a negative way. I think he's trying to remind landholders that, hey, if you've been holding land, doesn't matter if you bought it at $20 or if you bought it at $800 a plot, right? You have gotten SPS for holding land. So I think that's important to call out. That's important to point out, just because of the fact that, if we're expecting crazy returns and for land to do some awesome things, again, I think land is going to be great for gameplay, but overall, I don't know what the returns will be. We don't know what that economy looks like, and it seems from where the team is at, they don't know yet. They're still figuring it out, right? And so they have about a year. Because I think that they're planning to have functional land out in about a year from now, or end of 2023 is what Farpetrad said. So it will be a while. Now, the one thing that we do have coming up for land is when land phase 1 arrives, and I'm hoping that is going to be in January, maybe late January. I hope it doesn't go past Q1. That would be really disappointing. But that portion is going to allow us to see what kind of land we're going to be able to survey the land that we have, and so the other area in which I wanted to touch upon was this kind of land tax that is being applied in the form of potions and maintenance costs. Now, I covered this briefly in the last town hall, kind of 5 biggest takeaways that I did. And so essentially, when you survey your land, it'll be like opening a pack, and your land will already be what it's going to be, but you can increase the chances of it having a higher rarity by paying for a potion. Now, again, we don't have the details on this yet, but it does sound like it is going to be a thing. That being also on top of that, there was the first time, at least that I've heard, that there's going to be maintenance costs for your land. You're going to be building buildings, and just like there's maintenance costs in real life, you'll need to provide maintenance costs for your buildings. And so those are the two things that were exciting as DEC sinks. But many folks looked at that and said, well, these look like taxes on land, right? And so again, I don't want to get into the terminology of whether it is a tax or whether it isn't a tax. Well, because people were arguing semantics, saying like, okay, since it's not required for you to get a DEC potion or to get a land potion, you can just survey your land for what it is. You don't need to get the potion, therefore it's not a tax. Whereas many people view it as, well, you kind of have to, right? In the same way that you should be opening packs with potions. So tax may not be the right word. I don't want you to get hung up on that. Point is, there are going to be fees associated. If you want to go with that word instead, there's going to be fees associated that you can use to, like, an upgrade fee for your land, potential upgrade fee, or maintenance fees over time. So, this idea of land being this something that's going to provide great returns is something that worries me, because I think it's going to be great for gameplay overall, and it's going to add a lot to the whole DeFi element and DeFi ecosystem within the game itself, right? Because when we talk about DEC, SPS, that's actually like the game economy meta. But within the game itself, there will be a further economy with all the different resources that are going to be available. I think there's going to be 14 different land types and a bunch of different resources. So point being is that there's going to be this complexity that's going to exist in game for many people to get the cards and items and spells that they need. The last thing that I wanted to touch upon, and these are the numbers that I want to run, is, okay, the team wants to run some kind of land potions, I'm assuming as a DEC sync, right? To help us get back to peg, which again, we are very far from. We just went below 700 Splintoshis. The market is dipping and tanking today. And so, you know, that's just kind of where we are at. So with that being said, what I wanted to calculate here, and we'll just keep it rough, but let's say that a potion, right, for your land, some kind of survey potion, we'll call it. Again, I saw a bunch of numbers thrown out there. It seems, or it feels as though 1,000 DEC, which would be roughly $1 at peg, right now it's about 70 cents, would be kind of in line, right? Now, the thing is, for a region owner, that's going to add like an extra $700 to $1,000 on top of their region, which is crazy. So 1,000 in some instances seems reasonable. In other instances, it seems like it's way too high. But if you look at the costs for potions to packs, for example, at full peg value, it should be like 45 cents to $4, right? For at least 4 Chaos Legion packs. So that's like a 10%, you know, roughly 10% there. So if we're looking at it from that perspective, then 1,000 DEC is actually kind of small considering that land was valued anywhere between $10 to $20 when it was originally sold. So that's a 5 to 10% fee, we'll call it, right? Potion fee, if you want. So that's the number that I'm going to use. And what I want to go through is, let's say not everybody uses it, or let's say not everybody uses it right away. What's that impact going to be like on the economy? I'm going to say maybe 100,000 plots out of the 150,000 that are available. And when I say 100,000, let's say we get this in January. I'm talking about Q1. By the end of Q1, if 100,000 plots are surveyed with potions, what would that come out to from a DEC standpoint? Times 1,000 DEC, it's 100 million. We have 6.2 billion DEC. This has not come anywhere close. Now, could they 10x this and make it 10,000? Sure. That would become significant because then we're looking at 1 billion DEC burned. But I think a lot of people would also be really, really upset about that. Could they 2x it and say, you know, maybe 2,000, maybe 2,000 DEC would be the equivalent for, would be the equivalent of like a 10% of the original price. Again, non-presale price of $20. So 2,000 DEC, $2 at peg, 10%. Again, we just multiply this by 2. It's 200 million. I don't want to say that it's insignificant, but it's also not going to. It's also not going to like solve everybody's problems in Q1, right? For just land and land potions. So, you know, I'm curious as to where the team's going to go with this, what the pricing will be. But on the whole, you know, these comments on land make me feel like there's still a lot to be figured out. So I don't want to say like all of this is like negative. There's still a lot to be figured out. And I know the team is working hard. They're going to have their planning sessions next week. But at the same time, I just don't feel like land is going to be this end all be all, this savior of everything. And I know people are going to look at that and they're going to say, well, that's super bearish. It's going to be great. When land is out, I am super excited. I got my 2 plots. I'm waiting for my preferred territory so I can go ahead and claim the deeds. But, you know, ultimately we are way out from that. I don't know that land is going to make an impact now. And more so, I don't know what kind of ROI. So this is a little wide ranging, but these are just some thoughts I wanted to share with you on land, just because phase 0.5 is out right now. So, you know, there is the first part of land that is here and available. And I think we should and can and will be talking about this more and more as time goes on. Obviously, I don't know that we're going to get any more news on land over the next couple of weeks, but hopefully early on in the new year, we will. So that's all I have for you guys. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. How are you feeling about land? For the land bulls out there, what am I missing? Why are you so bullish on land? For the land bears out there, am I right? Are my numbers okay? Is this going to be worse than I thought, right? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I will catch you all in the next video and see you around the game. Take care.